Hi, I'm Art.
And I am Tony.
And we're here from GardenMasters.com.
With a Z. And today we want to give you a warning about fertilizer for grass.
If it's not done properly, it can do more damage than good.
Yes, it can. And you know, fertilizer is good for your lawn throughout the year, but especially in the spring and the fall. But if you make this one mistake, it could kill your grass.
Deadly.
What is that mistake? Well, you'll find out very shortly.
The biggest mistake that we see is over applying the fertilizer. This will burn the lawn
and kill it eventually.
I want to say one of the hardest spreaders is the drop spreader. You'll go by and if you see somebody's lawn with stripes, it's been applied with a drop spreader. Now in this case, this was a broadcast spreader, and this client has never ever had this problem before.
Art, explain the difference between a broadcast spreader and a drop spreader.
Well, just study those words and you know. Drop means it drops right out and there's a little spinner that just drops it directly down. Broadcast, there is this little disc down here below the hopper that the chemical hits, and it hits these fans, and as you're moving, it's spreading it out.
Yes, so that is the good way to apply fertilizer, because it spreads it out in an even layer, not too heavy, or it doesn't burn it. Look for the link to the spreader as well as the fertilizer we use in the description below. Also, you'll find that there's a dial with numbers on it, and it's very important to follow the directions on the bag to set the correct number, because different numbers will drop it out at a heavier rate.
So for example, if you have some experience, you know conditions are great. If it says this, you know, I'll use a Turf Builder regular fertilizer and it says a rate of 3.5. Okay, that is ideal. They're saying if you have good conditions, you're not going to get any burning of your lawn if it's applied properly. So with some experience, I know days are cooler. We're getting lots of rain coming up. I'm going to dial that up to 4. Now, you have to know that the conditions, very important, because if it was the middle of summer, do not dial it up to number 4. The sun will just bake and fry your lawn. So if in doubt, the number that's on the bag, it'll tell you different types of spreaders and what number to set your spreader at. Sometimes you have to be a detective to figure out what happened. In this case, never had any burns in the lawn before. What has changed? Okay, first of all, you got to look at the topography. Now, I'm looking across the flat areas of the lawn do not have any burn marks. As I said, this area is on a slope. Flat areas were not affected.
Let me interrupt you, Art, because the burning that we've seen at clients' houses and other houses is usually a general area.
So think of this. As you're spreading it, you gotta see where your fertilizer is stopping. Let's say it's stopping here. Okay, when I get ready to do my next pass, I gotta make sure that it is spreading to that. The further out it goes, it gets a lesser amount of fertilizer. Okay, if you go too close to that, you're going to get a burn. This is a common thing, and this client said, I think I overlap too much. I've been doing this all my life. I think it's an overlap. I said, okay, you're going along here and you're spreading it. Look at how the spreader on the bottom is on an angle now. Spreading, you always have to take several things into account. Your pace, if you're going super fast, it's going to go down lighter. If you're going slower, it's going to go down heavier. So what I'm thinking in this case is, being on a hill, if you're going a little slower, there's a lot of chemical coming out. Okay, so see on the edge of that disc there? Think of it as the chemical at a slow rate was just rolling
off the
edge.
right side of the spreader because it's on an angle.
So it was dropping a heavier amount right below that edge.
That's what we think happened. That's really what we think happened. And it makes sense because the burn marks are only on the hillside areas. The flat areas have no burn marks at all. Right, Art?
That's correct.
Yep. So anyway, the biggest mistake people make is burning their lawn by applying fertilizer too heavy. It's very important that you know how to apply a fertilizer and that you use a broadcast spreader, and absolutely never apply it by hand. Never apply it by hand. Now there's one other thing we want to show you on this property, and we're going to show you that right now. So look at this area right here that he also burned.
In his defense, he was saying when he went to refill his hopper, you got to make sure this door is closed. So open, shut. Open, shut. Open, shut. As your spreader gets older, some of these components right here get sticky. And what happens, and what happened in this case was he poured his chemical in there, and he noticed after he did that it was pouring right out on the ground. If this happens, don't just think you can pick it up. What you really need to do is take a rake and rake it out. And the most important thing is saturate it with water to leach as much of that out as possible. Because if this is on the lawn, the sun comes out, let's say it's 75, 80 degrees, this is what you're gonna get.
So the bottom line is, always use a broadcast spreader. Never spread the fertilizer by hand. Don't put it down too heavy because it will burn your lawn and possibly kill it.
Weather conditions are very important.
Yes.
And I'm saying that. And even this client, he always, and I'm saying you always need to apply it when you think you're going to have rain.
Yes, as a matter of fact, he said in the past he's always waited till there was a forecast for rain, and he applied it right before, and then it rained and it dissolved it into the lawn. This time he did not do that. And you know, that's not always the case with people that are working. You can't always just go right out right before it rains and apply fertilizer.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, very important to keep all that in mind if you're fertilizing your yard, and not if. You should fertilize your lawn. You can subscribe to our gardening tips newsletter by going to gardenmasterswithaz.com/subscribe, or watch these other top videos on our channel.